Firstly, I'm just happy everybody made it because I know there's a lot going on right now. So thanks for coming. So we're going to talk about the full moon. It's a Sagittarius full moon, and it actually hasn't happened yet. Most of our ceremonies happen after the full moons, so the energy is a little bit different. Like the come down is different from the hype. We're kind of on the hype end now, like the upward scale. It's on June 3rd at 11:42 p.m. So Saturday night, okay, like right before midnight. So basically, I sat with the energy last night and took some notes, and I also have oracle cards and tarot cards with messages. But the first thing that I have is this is going to be fun. That's a message that came to me. So apparently, it might not feel super fun energy right now, but we have over the next 2 weeks between now and a new moon where energies are going to start kind of mingling and changing. So apparently, this is going to be fun. But full moons in general are completions. They're a time for completions. There's a huge highlight as far as the factor of like chapters in our life, cycles, endings, and with that being said, also new beginnings. Really, it's just a high time for climax energy, like peak energies. And there's also a lot of illumination with the moon being filled with light in the sky over the next 2 days. And the moon in astrology, we're going to talk a little bit about astrology here in the beginning. It associates with our emotion and what we feel. So full moons are a time where we can have like kind of like those peak emotions. And that's not to say that it's good or bad. It just is. So just know that you're more receptive right now to things because of our subconscious. I always refer to it as like being in a dark room, and then when there's a full moon, the light gets turned on. So it can be a little bit jolting, and then that's when I like to dive in like the zodiac sign, because it also lets us know kind of like what this energy is going to be. So let's talk a little bit more about Sagittarius and what that sign kind of brings with it in astrology. So in astrology, I'm not sure if everyone has seen the zodiac wheel that we have, but we have these 12 houses and all these different animals. Some people are represented by items or things, but Sagittarius is the 9th house in astrology, so it's the ninth sign. There's 12. This is the 9th one, and this moon is a little interesting because it focuses on what we believe, which is a very powerful element for us as humans. So our beliefs, what we believe in, also higher education. Anything that has to do with like learning or teaching or studying is also Sagittarius energy. It's the house of philosophy. So right now with the moon being filled with light, there's like this philosophy that's happening in life, but this is a full moon. So again, with the endings and the completion. So that to me is more so like, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but it's like lessons ending. Like we've learned something. There's a lot being illuminated. Even science kind of comes in here with Sagittarius energy. And also distance, travel, long distance travel. So we have the moon in Sagittarius. The reason it's a full moon is because opposite of that is Gemini. It's Gemini season. Anybody having birthdays right now is a Gemini. So those are the twins. We've got some like truth coming. So we have to kind of incorporate both the sun and the moon, Gemini and Sagittarius, the truth, communication, but really we're dealing with mutable energy. So we have fixed, cardinal, and mutable with all the 12 signs. So similar to Aries, similar to Leo, we've got this fire energy, but Sagittarius is mutable. So we'll talk about that mutable fire here in a minute, and how a lot is just like changing. Things are like the speed right now energetically is super quick and fast and spontaneous. That's going to be your Sagittarius energy. But Jupiter is the biggest planet. So I want to talk a little bit about how Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which just recently shifted into the zodiac sign Taurus. So there is a little bit of optimism here, especially with our finances. There's also like a hint of luck. So when we talk about Jupiter and Sagittarius, it's all about expansion. It's the biggest planet in our solar system. So Sagittarius is like that gentle giant energy. They have a really big energy that they bring into a room. So when we think about this full moon over the next couple weeks, and actually over the next 6 months, so when we have these moons, we incorporate the past 6 months, because 6 months ago there was a new moon in Sagittarius, and now 6 months later there's a full moon. So 6 months from now, and I have it written down here somewhere, I think December 12th. So we're talking about the end of the year here. So the intentions that we write tonight, they essentially have this 6-month cycle between new and full moon, between full and new moon. So really, we want to think about how we want to end 2023, the things we want to learn, the things we've already. So tonight would be a great night to reflect on what we've learned over the past 6 months, or what we've learned thus far in life. That's what Sagittarius wants to know, like the big picture. What have you learned? What do you believe? Don't play it small right now. Like, all of us have a greater impact than what we think. That's what Sagittarius brings into life. I'm not sure if we know Sagittarius. Is there anyone connect with a Sag? But they bring that optimism, and that's a little bit to do with Jupiter too, because it's fate, it's fortune. So those are things going on right now too. Fate is like a super big thing right now with this full moon, which is basically we have free will, right? Some people believe that this story's already been written. Some people believe that they're writing the story. Some people believe that someone else is writing the story for them. Some people believe in like a little bit of a combination of all. So we definitely have a focus here on like fortune and fate, things that are destined to happen, like the Wheel of Fortune card in tarot, which might come up tonight. But Sag is the archer. Okay, I want to touch on that a little bit because we're all represented by these different animals, right? And all these different energies. So we have the centaur aspect of Sagittarius, which is like this really strong figured man, really like bulky, and the horse body, but usually with a bow and arrow. So I wanted to mention focus tonight, which is interesting. Sagittarius is associated with precision and focus and patience, but they're also associated with like that ADHD energy of like lots going on at once. I'm passionate about this, but I'm also passionate about that. So that's all like running in together too. Like the pace of this is extremely quick. Like fires are just going to light like fast in our life, meaning that people are going to just start expressing things. People are just going to start doing things because of this Sagittarius mutable fire energy. So basically, when I think about mutable fire, which is Sagittarius's element, it's passion that changes quickly. It's spontaneous. So it reminds me of like the Knight of Wands in tarot. That may come up too. So spontaneity, but excitement. I don't know if we're all feeling those things right now, but those are things in the form of people, places, and things over the next couple weeks, gradually into the next 6 months, over the summer perhaps. There's going to be like this influx of confidence, expression, and action taking. And then the last thing I want to do with the notes, and then we'll get into the Moonology Oracle deck, is just Sagittarius illumination, because we have the Sagittarius full moon. That's the sign that it's in. And then the moon is filled with light. So that's illumination. So what kind of things are going to be illuminated with this full moon? So I would say emotional optimism. We could all use that right now because there's been like hardcore undertones of pessimism. We just got over an eclipse last month. A lot of us just feel like this metaphorical hangover energy, like it's an energetic hangover where we're just going through so much at a subconscious level and an internal level internally. So we need this emotional optimism. Pessimism is going to be highlighted because of that, though. So we're going to be feeling more optimistic, but in order to feel more optimistic, we're going to need to identify who, what, where, when, and why is bringing that, like what's bringing you down, because it's not going to be as acceptable moving forward because our souls want to be joyful. It's even summertime. Like it's not a mistake that school ends during a Sagittarius full moon. Like we talked a little bit about how this is about education and endings. The reason school ends around this time of year is because we have that Sagittarius full moon. So you kind of like exams. I work with a lot of younger kids at my job, and they're talking about exams. I'm not in high school. That was 10 years ago, but it's just kind of metaphorical. Like even though all of us here may not be associated with school, we are all learning something, or we're teaching in life. So there's like this huge emphasis, right? So with all that being said, we need to shine a light on the pessimistic factors in our life, because the thing about Sag is like it really focuses on what you believe. So you know that saying where it's like whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. That's the power of belief. That's always true, but under this energy over the next 2 weeks specifically, and then it's going to dissipate a little bit, but become more subconscious behind the scenes. Like it's in our face the next 2 weeks, really loud. Sagittarius is even loud energy, but after that it'll dissipate a little bit, but there'll still be some behind the scenes energy. So yeah, there's an extreme, like powerful energy surrounding our beliefs. What we believe right now is literally dictating our life, or it's literally kind of paving that. So just keep that in mind. How you feel versus what you truly want and believe, and making that happen for yourself. And then just be aware of like the people, places, and things that are kind of grinding against that. Like, I want to be happy, but I just can't around this person, or I just can't around this job or this thing, because those things may get removed from your life as soon as tomorrow. So moving on, lessons learned, right? Because it's an ending with the full moon. Sag is all about lessons. So quite simply, what came to me last night is just like lessons learned. And also, I channeled something, consider yourself educated. Everybody here tonight, everybody listening to the recording afterwards, there are certain areas of your life that you've literally grown as much as you can from those people, places, and things. And, you know, Sag is this big energy ruled by Jupiter. So there might not be room anymore, meaning that certain people are going to have to move out of the way. Certain things are going to have to change. So consider yourself educated. And then I would say endings that bring freedom. This one feels good even to say. So there's going to be things that end between now and, you know, throughout June, over the next 6 months. Some things have an expiration date of 2023. So there's certain people, places, and things that don't exist, don't have room in your life in the years to come. So just know that things that are ending right now, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's a job, or things to do with your money, or maybe even just things to do with your own self, it's to get you closer to that feeling of freedom, which can't be faked. You either feel free or you don't. Sagittarius is an extremely associated sign with just wild, free spirit energy. And I just want to take this moment. I actually added this last, but when Michael and Jalen picked me up today, I'm just like a huge person that sees things as signs and omen. So I was looking out the window driving these back roads in the country, and I saw a farm and horses running around in a circle, and it just really, like, it gave me chills. Like, it was Sagittarius. Like, I just get those images. So Sagittarius being the centaur, it is kind of related to like horses and the centaur energy, but it really was metaphorical to me, because in our lives, in what ways are we wanting to be that free wild horse that's in a fucking fence? There's a fence around you. So when I saw those horses, it's like, yeah, they're running their energy off. They feel free like a horse, but do they know that there's this boundary keeping them? So they're free to run in a circle round and round and round, but they're not free to run away and go do, you know what I'm saying? So how are we free but not free? Like a gilded cage type of situation. Some of us are going to start becoming aware of our comfortable prisons. So it's beautiful here. I love it here. I'm happy, but I can't leave. That's not freedom. So we're definitely going to be seeing the areas where we're not exactly free. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to keep running around in a circle. Like with those horses, like it really, really showed me a lot. I'm gonna have to meditate on it a little bit more, but it hit me at a soul level when I seen that, and it awakened me. So I think some of us are like stuck in cycles and stuck in these fences, when really we're just metaphorically this wild horse. So what are the aspects of you that you've been overly taming and kind of like dimming your light for? Like, there's something we all want to do, but we're not confident enough to do it yet. There's something we all want to express, but we're not confident or bold enough. So that stuff comes up too with any fire sign, honestly. When we're talking about fire element, it's expression, manifestation, you know, confidence, that kind of stuff, doing things, creativity, sexual energy, all of that. Like, that's the fire element. And with the mutable, it's going to be changing a lot. It's not Aries, it's not Leo, it's Sagittarius. So it's going to be a little bit magical. There's going to be things that happen sporadically. There's no plan here. Me and Michael meditated earlier before this, and I received a message of, this is not the time to take things seriously. Like, it's not the time. Like, people aren't being serious right now. You can blame it on summer. You can blame it on like different changes, but I just feel it's the Sag vibe. Like, let's just keep things lighthearted. And then speaking of that, like we talked about the endings and the freedom. So expressing your feelings, maybe through dance. That's another one. I don't want to forget to mention that, but like dancing, party energy. There's going to be a lot of big parties coming up for all of us here, all of us listening. So that might be a good way to kind of harness the energies to just dance, like music, maybe even paint, any creativity, but definitely dance, party energy. Sag is like drunk party energy. Like, that's what metaphorically they symbolize. So just to keep things lighthearted. These are lighthearted vibes. They're joyous vibes. But there's also, this is what I have written here last, is that there is this untamed energy. So this can definitely come with like a loud, chaotic drama. Like, there is going to be some drama. Of course there is. This is Sagittarius. So yeah, we want to be careful of that too, because things are not going to be, I think with like last month, like basically since like April, May, it's been nuts. There was retrogrades. Things were super stagnant. And really, like, we might start missing that energy. We're going to start, like, wanting things to slow down soon, because now things are on and popping and really passionate, and there's going to be certain... It's weird because when we have these stagnant moments, it's almost a blessing in disguise, because when things start moving forward, all of a sudden you've got all these things to fix now. Now all of a sudden you've got just elements to move around, and people changing their mind, and things being said and things being expressed, but also boredom. Like, that's literally the last thing I have here. Sagittarius energy it really, like, wants a lot. It's the sign of plenty. It's the sign of riches. It's the sign of I will always have enough. But the areas of our life where we're not feeling that, it's going to trigger like a boredom. So also just look for that as a sign from the universe to what needs to move a little bit. I'm not saying like break up with your husband or wife or whatever, but just take note of that. Like, if you're bored in your home, or if you're bored at your job, it's not a sin or a crime to be bored, but I mean at a soul level. Like, maybe boredom isn't the right word, like a straight up uninterest. If you're becoming uninterested in people, places, and things, that's the Sagittarius full moon kind of trying to let you know, like, hey, there's more freedom over here. You could be more like those horses in a circle. Like, all of a sudden the fence opens up and they're able to be actually free. So all of those things are going to kind of be highlighted over the next couple of weeks, over the next 6 months. And then I'll just mention again, December 12th is an extremely important time period for all this information. Seems far away, but it's really not. Especially with this energy, it's going to be super fast. We're going to time travel there. So before we know it, it's going to be December 12th, 2023. We've got a couple more weeks of this year. What the fuck happened? What did I do in 2023? You know, what do I want to do in 2024? What are my goals? What are my attributions or ambitions, whatever you want to say? So we're just going to be thinking about those things, and that's what I have as far as the notes that I channeled last night. And then I just want to incorporate this Moonology. Okay, so with the Moonology, this is just an oracle deck that I have at home, and what I do every month that we do this is I just find the card that associates with what we're talking about. So I went and found the full moon in Sagittarius. It's the strawberry moon, right, Jalen? Mm-hmm. So it says, look at the big picture. Full moon in Sagittarius. We've got that full moon arrow inside there. So there's the precision and the focus. So basically, things that I wasn't able to hit on really get summed up. So there's like this little chapter here that I'm going to read. So full moon in Sagittarius, look at the big picture. Are you thinking too much about the details of your dilemma? Fretting over things that are minute can be counterproductive, or perhaps you're being all talk and no action. This card is a reminder that while it's good to think things through, sometimes you need to step back and look at the big picture. What do you then see about your current situation? What's the most positive thought that you can have about it? Now is the time to count your blessings, even if you don't yet have exactly what you want. This card is also a reminder that we often have to take a few risks to go with uncertainty on the journey called life. Try to keep an open mind about what's for the best. The universe could surprise you. So in order to connect to this moon, they call it attune to the moon. Take time out for a mini break or an adventure. How did I not mention adventure with Sagittarius? They're the sign of adventure, exploration. So additional meanings could be the situation may have come around because you've been distracted. So that's what I meant by the focus and the precision with the archery and the arrow with Sagittarius, but also them being kind of bored and unfocused. So, you know, we got to kind of balance that there. So we could be feeling distracted emotionally. Be confident without being overly confident to win the day. Have you shown that you care? If not, now is the time. Find a balance between speaking your mind and saying too much. The full moon in Sagittarius is a time when we are reminded that life is truly an adventure, and there's a big wide world out there to see beyond your backyard. It's about having fun and being prepared to sail into uncharted territory. It's about big ideas versus details. No matter when you draw this card, it encourages you to look at the big picture. All right, so we're going to start the tarot portion. So I've been studying tarot, playing around with tarot since 2017. So I've got my own unique personal connection to the cards. There's no right or wrong. Anyone here can read tarot. Everyone here can read tarot. But my personal way throughout the years that I've designed to kind of like make my own connections is like there's 78 cards, right? And in these cards, there's all different types of colors, images, numbers associated with different things for different people. But what I like is that in this deck, I really like astrology, all right? So there's cards that are associated with each sign. So when I start a reading, whether it's for a collective, which is what we're going to be doing tonight, I've set intention for a message basically that everyone listening to this afterwards, especially everyone here present tonight, we're all going to get something from this. So that's called a collective reading. But the way that I kind of harness the energy to make myself feel better, that I've really connected as confirmation, is I'll look for the tarot card that rules a sign. So everyone here has a card, and we're dealing with Sagittarius. So last night, I was just sitting with the cards shuffling, and I was looking for the Temperance card, which is what rules Sagittarius in tarot. So that lets me know that the full moon is aligned. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a tarot card for each chakra that Michael just harnessed and kind of cleared for us and got in balance. And we're going to dissect and get really into like what each area, like our heart, our communication, what's going on with the sacral chakra. So we're going to do that. But before I can do that, I want to just talk about the energy that's like right behind this moon. So in order to align to that, I've got the Sagittarius. But sometimes in readings, like even if I'm doing a personal reading, we'll say for like a Scorpio, for instance, you are the Death card. So when I shuffle, sometimes that card will fall out. That's how I read. Some people like pick them out personally. I like the cards to fall out, and I'll do that here in a moment. But last night when I was, waiting, and I'm very patient, sometimes it takes 30 minutes, sometimes it's immediate. So I was just like focusing on the full moon. I had no idea if anyone would come tonight, if there'd be a full house, if there'd just be a few. So I just set intentions for it. It was something that we all need to hear listening. And the Temperance card fell out like that. So that means that it's extremely aligned. And when I get jumpers like that, like for a personal reading, when a card jumps out, I know that the reading is going to be deep. I know that it's extremely aligned. Usually what will happen is I'll just shuffle and I'll keep looking at the bottom. Like, okay, Sagittarius full moon, what are the messages for the collective? And I'll check, and then I'll get this weird feeling and I'll look, and then the card will be there. But sometimes, like last night, the card will just fall out. Like, oh, okay. So I didn't look. We're going to discover it here tonight together. All these messages that we're about to go over, they're also new for me as well, except for this card, because it revealed itself to me when the Temperance card fell out. But let's not ignore the Temperance card. Let's talk a little bit about what this card means, since it's the one that we're harnessing for the Sagittarius. This does represent Sagittarius, but it's the card of moderation and balance. There's Archangel Michael illustrated on this card. And maybe not everybody can see, but in this card, what I really noticed immediately as a tarot reader is that there's 1 foot in the water, 1 foot out. So that's just another omen there for balance, emotion, logic, masculine, feminine, light, dark, yes, no. So we need to find kind of like, I always think of I think it's Goldilocks, like with the porridge, like that temperature is just right. So it's almost like a scientific experimental energy, which is weird because Sagittarius is associated with those things. But metaphorically in life, it's like dip a toe right now. This is a very extremely experimental time. So maybe dip your toe in something that you haven't dipped your toe in before, like a new element of life. See how that factor and that stimuli kind of affects the experiment of life right now. But make sure you're not like diving all the way in, So one of your feet are still planted in that other area. So if you're trying masculine things out, don't completely abandon the feminine. If you're trying just like new elements out, you're not completely neglecting or abandoning that other foot, whatever that means for us all here tonight. So this is balance, moderation, patience. It's a beautiful card for like culmination. So eventually we're going to feel that. But intuitively, I think this full moon is going to be loud first, and then there's that calm afterwards. So what's really important is the cards. We'll just maybe talk about the first few. We'll see how the energy goes, and then we'll get into the actual reading. This, again, is just the energy that is subconsciously what we have to talk about before we can really get into like the messages. But this is important too. And it's kind of weird because this is my Sagittarius card as well. So we have the 2 of Wands behind the energy of this full moon, which means the energy we're about to discuss has an extreme, like this full moon, basically, guys, we're all in between 2 paths right now. That's what's happening. That's what's really going on at a subconscious level. Like if I asked everybody here tonight how we're feeling or what's going on, we'd all have different responses. But what I know as your tarot reader is that in a nutshell, we're in between where we've been and where we're going. Quite simply, we're in between who we've been and who we want to become. And what that means is that we have a difference here between comfort and growth, and you can't have them at the same time. They just don't live on the same street. It just can't happen. You can't grow and be comfortable. You can't be comfortable if you want to grow. So there's like this dynamic here of like the same old chestnut that we've always sang and done. But the Sagittarius full moon, again, going back to that oracle card, is that big picture energy, that bird's eye view. So there's like this outer body feeling that we're going to have. We're going to have to get out of our natural nature and what we're used to in order to open our world up ahead of us. So that's what these 2 wands represent. And this is fire. We have all these elements. Maybe some earth will come up, maybe some water, maybe some air, but Sag is fire. So it makes sense why there's this 2 of wands. So that means not only are we in between what we were just talking about, but there are things that offer passion in different ways. So the way we used to express ourselves, the way we're going to start expressing ourselves, the actions we've taken before, the actions we're about to take and start taking. So we've got this choice here. And then also there's that world in that person's hands. So that always reminds me that this is not some small choice about what we're going to have for dinner next week. This is literally a choice between, the future. Like, we have a Capricorn full moon next. So our future is going to be highlighted here. So, we're going to keep going. But so far as your tarot reader, I'm just getting put on this journey. I'll start feeling things for everybody. I'll start feeling things for the collective. So right now I'm just feeling like kind of indecisive, a little bit scared a little bit. I think some of us have some fear. This is also a card that represents the next 2 weeks for me as a tarot reader, the next 2 months. So we've got that too. And maybe even the next 2 days. Actually, I'm feeling that. At first it was weeks and months, but I'm remembering that this is the full moon. So let's just say this is Saturday and Sunday's energy. Of course, it can go to the distance and mean more, but our world over the next couple weeks is going to change. Our world over the next couple months, and our world over the next couple days too. So the next 2 days are interesting. There's going to be elements added. So let's continue. We have the Chariot. So there's a Cancer showing up. I don't know if anyone knows a Cancer, or if there's an important Cancer listening. So this could be sun, moon, or rising. It's a zodiac sign though, so I do want to mention that, but we're not going to focus only on that. It's really just the energy. So the Chariot is a vehicle. Right away, somebody's traveling. Right away, someone has some travel. You might not know it sitting here tonight, but in a couple weeks when you listen back or you revisit these energies, maybe a couple months for some of us, someone's in a car and they're thinking about traveling in a couple weeks. They're thinking this is a vehicle. That's why I'm saying that. The Chariot represents a car, a vehicle. So I'm getting a travel. Someone's thinking about traveling far away, like in a distance, maybe 2 hours away at the very minimum. It doesn't have to be, but I'm just getting all these different energies for different people. So there's like this 2-hour car ride, or maybe someone is sitting in their car thinking about these decisions. Maybe there's 2 different places you can travel. Maybe that's the choice. Maybe it's metaphorical. This could be metaphorical travel. Aside from that, this is victory. So I am getting a confirmation that there is no right or wrong. Then I'm getting that message of don't take things seriously right now. So there's going to be new facts and communication that takes place that kind of help us navigate, because I really literally just see a tee off, like a metaphorical T road, where it's like you can't go forward anymore. Are you going back or forward? Are you going left or right? Like, you have to make a choice. And I'm not sure what the seriousness is or lack thereof for all of us, but it's like the difference between if you go this way, only certain people can go. If you go this way, like, it's going to cost you. It's not going to be some easy choice. That's just all I'll put the emphasis on there. So victory, though, I'll bring it back to that. Like, whatever way we choose to go, we're going to go fast. We're going to go without obstacles. So there's certain areas. Now, here's a real powerful message coming to me right now. There's a road, there's an area, there's a path, there's something that we've been wanting to do, but there was something blocking it. There was a person, a place, or thing. We couldn't get that job. We couldn't be with that person. We couldn't go there, or whatever it is. That's no longer, the Sagittarius full moon is bringing freedom to everything. So that's the opposite. That's why Capricorn comes after Sag, because Capricorn is boundaries, limitation, responsibility. Sag is that child part, like the party energy that comes before you getting your own business. That's literally the Sag and Capricorn cusp. It's like the party, the joy, the fun, and then, okay, now I'm reaching that age where I need my own business, where I'm trying to get stable. So either way, though, guys, it's going to be extremely victorious. Let's continue, because I feel like there's a lot of messages here. We have the Ace of Wands and the Seven of Swords, so that's my cue to stop, because now it's getting a little interesting. But there's going to be new sparks. We have the Ace of Wands. That's fire still again. So here's the thing. I want to revisit and honor that energy, because I feel weird right now, but like the 2 paths or whatever, and there was obstacles in the way, and now there's not, because there's freedom. Here's the real tea, is that there's those 2 paths, right? But there's a third one coming. So if you've been in between 2 people, if you've been in between 2 things, or whatever, it's a lot. There's a lot of energy over here, but it can be harnessed with 2 for some reason. Like, there might be 84 people in a room, but you can classify them into 2 categories. Like, you can simplify it down to that. So maybe think about your life like that too. All these things going on, relationships, money, family stuff, all this, it can be harnessed into what I want and what I don't want. Things that are good for me, things that are bad for me. So like there might need to be some organization here or something. But what's going to get weird about it is that you've been in between these two things for so long. And then there's this new spark and you don't want either of those things. Like maybe somebody was in between a job that paid this much and this much. And this one paid a little bit more. But then there's this third one that comes in the next couple of weeks that pays more than both of them. And now you're like, whoa, okay. So it's going to make your decision for you. It's this excitement coming in, this victory, this new passion that's going to help us as a catalyst. Is really going to light a fire in an area that we haven't had in a while. This is completely new sparks of intimacy, magic, manifestation. But I do have the 7 of Swords here. So this also is associated with like deception in a certain way. I'll be honest, when I get the Ace of Wands and the 7 of Swords, for somebody that's a sexual encounter that involves like deception or lies or stealing or, this is just like, there's definitely going to be some suspicion with this Sagittarius full moon. And, just talking about Sagittarius as a zodiac sign, they are known to be, we're all adults here, like fuck boys, like, like just like the Bachelors, like here for a good time, not a long time energy. So those types of themes are going to show up in opportunities, circumstances, options, people, places, and things, this new spark. But I do see that. I mean, Sag is that exciting, horny energy. So like, some of us are going to harness that creatively, but I definitely don't want to just not say that and be like meek and coy. Like, no, there's a sexual encounter here for some of us in a car. And it might involve, like lying to yourself about this or lying to others, or like maybe you just got to be a little on the down low about it. People have their own agendas right now. And what I love about Sagittarius is even if they lie, even if they cheat, they do it in like a lighthearted way. They do it in like a innocent way, for lack of a better way of putting that. Like, it's all coming from a good place. My world's just opening up. What do you want me to do? Like that kind of thing. So it's like someone isn't blatantly stabbing you here. Someone isn't blatantly hurting you, taking from you. They're just excited. I don't know where that's coming from. But yeah, there's a lot of juggling. There's going to be a lot of, we need to step into a lot of confidence. The fire signs are out here fire signing. Like, we definitely got some bold energy, and even if we aren't fire signs, we all have fire in our birth chart somewhere. For me, it's Leo, Mars and Leo. So you might want to look into your own chart, but the future requires a bold, I've been saying this for months, the future requires a version of you that is more confident than you've ever been. It's a version of you that gets shit done, but also plans ahead, and like now all of a sudden, you can juggle more than one thing. Like, I'm just super proud as the collective to be a part of this, and proud. I don't even know everybody here and what we got going on, but I'm a tarot reader and I know the cards, and I see that everybody here is juggling 2 things. Everybody here has 2 things that they value, that they've been connecting infinitely for a while, and we've been doing good. We're responsible. We've got these 2 responsibilities. We've got these 2 elements here that we're juggling. The only thing I'll say, and then we'll get into this, is just like, don't let this opportunity be stolen from you. And I don't think it's as easy as like a person, place, or thing stealing it from you. I think the only thing that can steal that, like, if you miss this Sagittarius full moon wave, like if you don't get invited to this party, then that sucks for you, because like you really want to catch this energy right now. You really want to not give into that pessimism and stand still right now. Like, really go with these new sparks, these people coming in, these places, these things, these opportunities. It's not a mistake. Like I said, Sagittarius is aligned with fate. So there's new fated opportunities. If you get an invite to go travel somewhere, oh, it's too far, I'm a little out of my own comfort zone, go. Because you're going to get enlightened. It's going to teach you something. It's going to be an adventure. It's going to open your boring ass, dull, unsatisfied world up. And that's what's happening, is like we're all just bored right now. So go with it. The universe is about to spark something for you. And it might require you to take something away from someone else. Like, I'll just say this, like, take this opportunity. Because the 7 of Swords, yeah, it's stealing, but it's also somebody who's selfish enough to take what belongs to them. So maybe that's that Sagittarius energy. That's why we get ran over sometimes by Sag, or we get our heart broken by Sag, because they're passionate, they're in the moment, they're having fun, and sorry I hurt your feelings. Like, they've already done what they wanted to do before. They don't really take emotions or other people into consideration. And I think that can be the greatest teacher sometimes. Like, it's not the time to like people please and not do something because of what someone else feels. It's the time to run with your excitement. You might regret it later, but we'll deal with that, you know, when it comes. Like, that's just the energy. I'm not used to being that way, so this is going to be rough for me. We're all going to handle it different ways, but I would definitely recommend that, you know. And then back to these 2 directions, give it a couple weeks. Some of us, we might give into this spontaneous energy and kind of rush into it, and that might be the vibe. But in 2 weeks, we'll know a little bit more about what direction we'd like to go. But just keep in mind, either way, it's going to be very victorious. So that's a good confirmation. So now, usually people like write if they want to, if anything comes to you. Now that we've meditated, I'm just going to take a moment here to just focus and not rush and get a card, let them do their thing. And once I've got a card for each bowl, then we'll get into like even deeper energy. Okay, so let's get into this tarot reading and dissect these chakras. We're going to start with the crown, which is up here. And I have a little sheet just to let me know and remind me of what each chakra actually harnesses and what it represents. So the crown is our higher consciousness. So what we're aware of, what we're conscious of in a higher state, in our divine connection, our connection with things that are divine. So we got the first 2 messages I have are coming out like this. So for me as a tarot reader, when cards fall out on the table, on my desk, if they don't reveal themselves to me, there's an extra message here, like an extra omen, symbolism of hidden energy. So meaning that, and it's weird because it's like a higher consciousness, but it's coming out like this. And I'm going to reveal them to you guys now. So we have the sun in the Wheel of Fortune. Really beautiful, powerful energy. Immediately, it's like Leo energy. Leo season is not that far away, like July 20th. It's optimism, though. This is literally that Sag energy that I was talking about earlier with the notes. This is Jupiter's energy, luck, expansion, but it's also the summer solstice. For me as a tarot reader, this card in different decks also goes by the Wheel of the Year. And ever since I realized that, I've associated the Wheel of Fortune with our solstice shifts, our equinox shifts. We've got one of those this month. We have a summer solstice around like the 21st or something like that. Mm-hmm. So there's a time period here. I don't always get time periods as a tarot reader because it's energy. It could have already happened. It might be happening, or it might be happening in the future. And I don't think there's too much of an emphasis on that because we're all going to be feeling it differently at different times. That's why I record, because it blows my mind when I re-listen to these messages after we do them. So we do have some light here, some clarity, but remember these cards were hidden from us and I didn't even know what they were until I revealed them as well and held them up for you guys. So there's some optimistic light and change happening, especially this is literally like really summer solstice energy to me because it's the sun, which represents like vibrancy, warmth, metaphorically or literally, like just things get feeling brighter and lighter. It could be our inner child. There could be an actual child here because this is the sun. So it's like a small child if it's not your own inner child. Let's link it to the higher consciousness though. So we have a higher understanding right now of what would make us happy, but guess what? Also, how fucking much is going to change everything. Like it's bringing me back to that Two of Wands. Like we can see something, it's just far away. We're aware of it. We just know it's not going to be like this quick little step to get to it. Like happiness is at a distance. And maybe that's what's going to change after the 21st is all of a sudden people, places, and things with happiness in store for us are closer than what they seem, or we realize what we have to do to obtain those things, but we're aware of it. We're clear of it in a higher way, apparently. And we're also divinely connected, meaning that there is a very special connection right now to fate. Like some of us here, this is so cliche, but we're fated to be happy. And you know, that's such a Sagittarius thing because honestly, aside from money, riches, like everybody wants different things. I don't want to put anyone in like a zodiac box, but as a tarot reader, as an astrologer, that is a very Sagittarius thing. Like, I guess the bare minimum here is happiness. And I'm hearing not temporary happiness either, because I don't know where that came from, but not temporary happiness. This is long-term happiness, like light. But I feel like we kind of know, or we're about to come into the knowledge of like at a higher level, what we're going to have to do to obtain this energy. And you know what it was, is before we didn't believe in it. Maybe some of us here tonight aren't believing in it yet, but there's going to be things that take place over the next couple weeks, especially by June 21st. I don't always get time frames, but this is definitely the summer solstice, June 21st. And that's about 2 weeks away. That's weird. So by that time, we can see it. And now I'm hearing you got to see it to believe it, or, you know, whatever they kind of play with those terms. Like, do you have to see something in order to believe it? I don't believe so personally, but I'm also a realist at the same time. So I do know how much more powerful belief comes, or how much more powerful belief becomes when you are aware of it. Like, whoa, I didn't know. It's kind of like, you know, you don't believe in love, and then you meet this person and you're like, well, damn, like, I didn't know I could feel that way. And that's just a small example. It doesn't have to be that for everybody, but in a nutshell, for the collective, everybody's different, but we're all going to take something from this, right? You're going to be able to see the change, the fate. Somebody here, there's going to be a 180, because that's what the Wheel of Fortune talks about. Is like, if your life was headed this way, the Wheel of Fortune, it's not a 360, because then you're back where you started, right? In a full circle. No, it's like you were going this way. Let's do a 180. So it's optimistic changes that are happening. So that's a little bit exciting. For the crown here, for your higher consciousness level, we might not be aware of it at a physical plane level, because it's a little bit more involved than that. These are very deep things, like at an energetic level, but we'll check back in, you know, around that summer solstice. And I feel like everyone present here tonight, everyone listening, everyone in the world, whether we're aware of it or not, whether we know our zodiac sign or not, some people don't even know there's a full moon right now. There's going to be change. This summer is filled with light, happiness, and joy, like feeling like a kid again. So now that we talked about what we're aware of at a higher level, we go to the third eye, which is purple energy. And this is my favorite one. It's intuition, foresight. So this is like the psychic in all of us, right? The things that we're able to kind of feel with our open imagination. This card is also hidden from me, so I do not know what's here. That lets me know as a tarot reader, even though there's this intuition, we actually have a blocked third eye right now, straight up. Like, some of our third eyes, the reason they're overactive right now is because we're making up for a time period where we were bullshitting ourselves, where we were not trusting our intuition, not trusting our gut instincts, right? We were blocked off in that way. So there's something mysterious going on. And it could be as simple as, I know something's hidden. That's what I feel right now, for sure, as your tarot reader. It's like, if you feel like something's hidden right now, if you feel intuitively that something's off, then it is. Let's see what it is. And it's the Three of Cups. It has to do with our friendships. It has to do with our sisterhood. It has to do with reconciling. This has to do with like that party energy I was talking about. This is literally a gathering. So there's something here. There's a secret third party too. And I don't want everyone to immediately go to like, oh, someone's cheating on me. Like, a third party, what I've realized as a tarot reader is that it can be me, my partner, and the fact that they're on drugs. Me, my partner, and the fact that they work all the time. So work can be a third party. A family member is like me, my partner, but my partner also has a child, or it can be literally anything. So there is 3 elements here that are being highlighted. 3 people. I'm getting a friendship vibe. There could be you and 3 other people together, or it could be you and 2 others. But specifically when there's situations, the universe is going to harness this energy. 3 is a crowd, right? 3 people can have a bitchin' time together. So 3 people are going to get together in secret, or maybe you intuitively already knew this. There might even be like old friends, like me and Brooke haven't seen each other in a while. So kind of like that, like you rejoice with your friends. But just know, whenever that happens, there's something the universe is intuitively doing with that. Like, when you find yourself around these friends, or at this party, or at this gathering, having drinks, going out for coffee, when it's this social energy, there's something spiritual. Maybe there's spiritual friendships coming. Maybe there's people around you that you're getting really in tune with, like they're finishing your sentences, things like that. This is also our siblings, which is weird because Gemini, the opposite of this full moon, rules our siblings. It rules people that are close by us. Sag rules the far away. Gemini rules the close proximity. So we kind of have both going on right now, but definitely some friendships, definitely some parties. But even as your tarot reader, the fact that that was hidden, like maybe there's a friend that's hiding something. Maybe there's a hidden reconciliation. I'm not going to dive too much into it because I have respect. And I can feel that there's just something there. Maybe it just shouldn't be talked about yet. Maybe, you know, some things are hidden for a reason. So I like that it's the third eye, because it lets me know that even though there's a hidden meaning, I can move on from it without overly explaining it, because we are going to intuitively catch on, but just not yet. So just know that there's just definitely some things. There's a third thing coming, person, place, or thing, that wasn't an element before. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, all right, like now the vibe is changing. This is not something that where it can be the same as it was before. There are people, places, and things coming to bring a third element. Maybe it's the Trinity or something. You just need a third or something. I don't know. But it's going to come to shake things up, right? Because you don't want to be bored anymore. You want to be free. So it's going to kind of chime into that. But let's keep that intuitively. We'll move on to the throat. And now from this point on, the cards have shown themselves to me. But there's something about the third eye and the crown right here, this part here, that is a little bit hidden for me as a tarot reader and for the collective. But the throat chakra is blue energy. It's the ability to speak. and it's to communicate clearly. So, you know, the truth and also listening. Any of those things are going to be the throat chakra. The card that we have that came out with it is the Two of Wands. We've seen this before. So this was the card that was right behind this full moon. So we've talked about this a little bit. For this to show back up with the throat chakra, this has a lot to do with our mind. So I didn't know that before, right? Maybe there's some things that we didn't know before. Maybe that's a metaphor. When I was talking in the beginning here, I hit on all those elements, but now I know even more. Now I know that this crossroads, yeah, we're passionate about two things. Yeah, it's where we've been and where we're going, comfort, growth, but it's our head. Like, what path is true? And that's where the Gemini energy is going to come in. Gemini is going to come in very similar to Sagittarius, but cares more about the truth. Sag doesn't care about what time it is or the truth or facts or whatever, because that takes away from the fun. Gemini, however, cares a lot about numbers adding up, cares a lot about talking and all of those energies. So what it really is that we have to make our mind up. And we think two different things right now. That's not being like hugely emphasized, but I know it with the chakra bowl and the Two of Wands and how the Sagittarius full moon is like splitting us. Like, do you want to be free or do you want to run around in a circle? Are you an actual horse or are you on that merry-go-round? Are you a plastic horse at Walmart that only takes a penny to ride? Or are you an actual stallion that's about to ride away regardless of how the cowboy feels? Like, that's the metaphor coming up. And it's our mind. It's the truth. Like, which one of these things are true? So you might be more passionate about this side, but this side might be more true. So that's going to be up to the individual. But I do feel it's like being dual-minded about something. You know, you're going to have conversations. That's what it is like Sagittarius just wants you to take a path and go with it. And like, who cares what anyone thinks? But the Gemini part is like, but there's a couple people you need to talk to before you leave, though. There's a couple people you need to discuss these things with. So that's going to be interesting. There's a huge head space, like headache energy with it. Like, because it's like you just want to be fun and spontaneously do it. But there's all these facts behind it. Like, but if I do that, how will I pay my rent? Like, you know, like stuff like that. You can't be too free about it because there's reality, right? Gemini is going to be the downer of it, or the Debbie Downer, the party pooper or whatever energy. We can't just be untamed and wild. We do have to kind of assess the facts here. Otherwise, you know, we might run straight into a path that is less true for us. So that's kind of simple. We're going to move on from that. Just, you know, your ability to speak in between these two things. Like, you might be speaking from a past self version of you. Now that you've been enlightened, now that you've learned certain lessons, there's a new way of speaking perhaps up ahead. There's a new mindset. So that's another thing too, is like these paths are going to change the way you think. There's an opportunity before us that will change our ability to speak. There's a route that we can take where we're communicating more clearly up ahead in the next couple days, the next couple weeks. So we'll let that be, and we'll move to the heart chakra, which is green. This is love. This is self-love in its relationships. But we have the moon card. So it doesn't matter if this card is this way or this way, because the actual meaning of it is hidden energy. This is the actual moon in the sky. It's our soul. It's our emotion. It's what we're afraid of. It's Pisces energy. Pisces is showing up. So there's a dark heart here. There's a sad, somber heart here. There's something being illuminated here. And also there's straight up fear in the heart. There's something here. And that's weird, because that's why I like doing this, because the chakras will like chime in and like they're all associated. So we are definitely, maybe the fear in our heart is why we're at this crossroads. Like, I really want this, but I'm scared. Like, I'm scared of the unknown. I'm scared to be uncomfortable. Also, our dreams, the subconscious state, it's linked to our heart chakra right now. So the state of your heart, the state of your relationships, the state of your self-love and love that you're giving others is affecting our dreams, affecting what's going on behind the scenes. There's also straight up a secret love here. I could actually just end there, because I can feel when I've hit a message as a tarot reader. That's why I kind of go back sometimes, because they're reaching out to me. That's the message here, is that there's some secret stuff going on. Also, the heart chakra vibrates differently at nighttime right now. Not sure why. I don't know why, but with the tarot and the chakra. So just keep in mind how you're feeling at a heart level at night, because once that sun goes down and the moon and the subconscious come out, you're in a different heart space all of a sudden. And I don't know what that's going to mean for everybody else, but it's a straight up message here, apparently. So yeah, I would just say that there could be secret love. There's fear in the heart. And when I say dark heart, something I learned right off the rip with a spiritual journey is that dark is not bad. Light is definitely not good. So when you say a dark heart, that means that there's just some unknown hidden elements to your heart that this moon is going to illuminate. So pay attention to your dreams. And don't be afraid to love yourself enough to choose what would be the most rewarding for you. Like you, not your friends, not your sibling, not your mom, not your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Like, do what's best for you. And even if you're afraid at a heart level, it's not going to affect the speed of rapidly going forward. Like, you can move forward with a scared heart. I mean, it doesn't feel great, but that means growth to me. Like, that would literally make someone grow so fast. So I know a lot of us are going to be scared. A lot of us have been scared. A lot of us have been sad and depressed. You know, I knew there was something left with that moon card. It's depression. That's in delusion as well. Yeah, illusion, delusion. Like, that is my card. I'm a Pisces, but I'm not afraid to say that card does bring up, like, deception and secretive illusion. So our hearts are confused, and there we go. That's literally the end of it. Our hearts are confused. They're overwhelmed, but they're going to be illuminated. And there's really like a test here, honestly, is like, would you rather move forward with a afraid heart or stay still with a broken heart? You know, like it really just depends. So I would say, you know, the new moon, which is relatively around the same time as the summer solstice, we're talking like June 20th. You know, those are going to be energies to check back in with the heart space. And then also, if you know your own moon sign, there's something going on. Just astrology, this would be your Venus and your moon, because we have the moon card in the heart chakra. Heart chakra reminds me a little bit of our Venus placement in astrology, how we love, that kind of thing. So if you're into that, or if you need help, find your Venus out, find your moon sign, and really, really take that into consideration. Like, whatever zodiac sign it is, maybe when the moon is going through that, you go through a breakup, or we can look more into that. But I do know that there's something with the moon sign and the Venus sign right now, and that's different for everybody. So that's that. That one makes sense to me. Let's move to the solar plexus, which is yellow energy, and we have just a few more after that. So this is our self-esteem. This is going to be a Sagittarius one. I think Sag is connected to the solar plexus, but definitely the sacral. So we're actually about to talk about the chakra that Sag is zodiac signs are associated with chakras as well. So I would say a little bit of the solar plexus, but definitely that sacral. The reason I say Sag is going to be important here is because of that self-confidence. We've got a fire sign here that just wants to rapidly go and be spontaneous. So our self-esteem is harnessed there, right? It would definitely help to be confident and have good self-esteem, because if you're not, that's just another hurdle in your way. So also pleasure, that's another Sag thing, and then willpower, and then responsibility, not so much a Sag thing. But let's see with the tarot here. We have two, and we have I think I've seen this before, the Queen of Pentacles and the Three of Swords. So let's remind myself here, solar plexus is self-esteem. Let's talk about that. So really, our finances. We just got through Taurus season from April 20th to May 20th, and there was a Mercury retrograde. Jupiter just entered Taurus. I'm mentioning Taurus not only because we have the Queen of Pentacles, that's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, but because we just went through that, and our money is extremely highlighted right now. So I am getting a message where the loss that we've taken financially, like the separation we feel from being grounded, from being stable, is actually affecting our sense of self-worth. It's affecting our sense of self-power. And I also would read this as a heartbroken earth sign, separating from an earth sign. If it's not an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, then it's, again, that stability. So when we have the pentacles there, that represents the tangible things that can be bought, sold. They're worth something, they're valuable, you know, it could be anything in that realm, but it's the physical, tangible realm of money, numbers, logic. There's some separation going on there that is somehow linked to our self-esteem. So this chakra does talk about responsibility, though. So there's something here where there's a loss of that. Like someone had to take a L recently. It's weird because I do have this really grounded, mature, feminine energy coming forward. But like there's somebody here that is trying their best to hang on to their value. But it's like there's definitely some loss there. Like someone here may straight up feel like they've lost their stability, or like they've lost maybe that's the choice. Maybe that's why there's a little bit of hesitancy to go to this new place or this new path, because it's going to cost you your old foundation. It's going to cost you your old job. Like this is tangible loss, which I like, because there's emotional loss, right? Spiritual loss. There's a highlight here on physical loss. So someone lost $100 here, $300, or like there's some kind of sacrificial loss element of our tangible realm here. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. Pleasure. So this is definitely affecting that. I mean, I don't believe in good and bad, but I do believe in challenging and less challenging. This is one of our more challenging messages here. So this is going to affect, our will, our esteem. And we want to be careful with that right now, I know we just had Taurus. We've got all this Taurus energy. Jupiter's in Taurus. But this full moon, this is for the full moon, right? This is for Sagittarius. And it's like cheap thrill energy, right? You might not got it all. You might not have $300, but we can still have fun, though. You can have fun. Like, I'm starting to think of my roommate, my best friend. He's a Sag. And we can just go to Walmart and not even get anything. We can just go outside, and it's the funnest time. Like, there's jokes and optimism. So don't let your wallet stop. Let's not say it like that. Don't let your have and have nots affect optimism, because there's a time period in the past where you didn't have something that your now self does. Just like there's a future you that may not have some of the same things you have. They may have some things that you know what I'm saying? So it would be silly. It would be just downright silly to not do something because you don't have the money. And I know that sounds like easier said than done, but the tarot is saying, like, even though there's loss in that area, maybe it's to make room for like other elements, because we've been focused on money and responsibility, and there's times to do that. In fact, when we have that Capricorn full moon next month, that'll be the vibe that night. That'll be that extreme energy. But this is lighthearted Sagittarius. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you're heartbroken, you don't have any money, we can still have fun. We can still have a party. We can still be excited. Just be careful with that. Because some of us are, let's say the Three of Swords is heartbreak, it's loss, it's sorrow, it's needing to have these heart-to-heart conversations, grounded heart-to-heart conversations that are based on logic, truth. We need to speak from the heart, but we're definitely feeling separated from someone or something in the tangible, physical realm. But at the same time, there's these new beginnings. There's these new responsibilities coming in, but it's going to cost the loss of a different person, place, or thing. Not going to lie, that one's throwing me a little bit. It's making me feel weird, and I'm just going to go ahead and maybe say that that's just the natural vibe of things. Maybe all of us are feeling weird about that. Maybe all of us are feeling the way I'm feeling about our self-esteem right now. Like, we're not the most confident. But I will say some of us have done a damn good job sustaining this heartbreak. I'll just say that for whoever needs to hear it. Your heart has been broken. You've been disappointed. You've been sad. Maybe no one even knows. If you're the Queen of Pentacles, nobody knows you're upset because you're at work. Nobody knows that you're heartbroken because you're making money, because you're focused all entirely on your stability. But this woman, literally as she's working, it doesn't have to be a woman, this individual is doing so with a heavy heart, but she's still at work. She's still grounded. She's still doing the dishes. She's still doing the laundry. She's still doing all these things. She's got this grounded maturity about her, but deep inside, there's some loss here. So I don't want to overlook that either. I don't want to overlook the Queen of Pentacles loss, because it's like this person needs someone as well. This is the type of person that's always there for other people, right? And it's like, I think all of us can resonate with that. Like, we might need somebody right now in that way. They might not be able to help out financially, but they can take a little bit of that load off and that sadness. But I'm going to respect here. There's like some kind of respect coming through right now. So I'm just going to leave it at that and believe that whatever needed to be said was said. And we'll just move to the sacral, which is orange energy, and it is Sagittarius. And it's literally just our creative energy, and it's sexual as well. We have two cards that came out, and we literally have Taurus. Like, we've got Pisces, we've got Taurus that has shown up verbatim. Other energies can be present as well, but we have the Hierophant that is Taurus in the cards, just like the moon is Pisces. So we've got a magical commitment here. There's something manifesting. We just went through Taurus season. We've got Mercury in Taurus right now, which is literally showing up. The Magician rules Mercury as a planet. The Hierophant is Taurus. So as an astrologer, I do know that Mercury's in Taurus. Mercury's going to shift into Gemini this month, though. So there's a huge money mental focus here. And it's for the chakra that's like creative and sexual. So I do want to say some of us are just a little too like tangibly focused right now on our resources. Like, there's a literal ritual here with the Hierophant and the Magician. It's like, it would be like I guess we'll just say magician. There's another word for it though, like a genie with a priest. Like, think of those two types of people coming together as a metaphor, like literally a priest or a pope or a teacher with this magical person. Like that, there's literally two elected officials here showing up that can get real creative. These people might be having sex together. I'm not sure, because this is the sexual you know what I mean? So like, let's chime that in. Like, sex right now, especially under this full moon in Sag. We just had a Scorpio full moon eclipse. That was the sexual energy. So like, a lot is manifesting from those energies, even if it's just by ourselves, you know what I mean? That's a great way to manifest. I actually believe the chakras reset when we have orgasm. Like, I truly believe that and know that to be true from experience. So there's a lot. It's called masturbation manifestation or intention, but that's not the whole message here. That it is sexual, but there's just some like resources coming in. This is the holidays, it's tradition. Someone here needs advice too. The Hierophant could be you being put in a position of advice, or you coming to another person for advice. This is your teachers, and teachers are important right now with Sag. This is the priests, counselors, therapists, anybody that like is wise. You know, we have these two people down here that are looking up at this figure like, what do we do, you know? But then there's like this magical element with it. The Magician came out for a reason. So I guess let's talk a little bit about this Magician, because this is a card in tarot, one of the only, in my opinion, that have all elements. So when this card comes out, it's to remind us that we have so many resources around us. You either know someone or know someone who knows someone that has everything that you need right now. So we've got the cup. It's really small here, but we have the cup, the sword, the wand, and the pentacle here, which are all the suits in tarot. So this is a card that represents the fact that you have enough money. You have a little bit of money. You've got a little bit of love and emotion. You've got even a little bit of passion. You've got a little bit of truth. That is literally all that any magician would need to manifest something. So the metaphor I always bring up here as a tarot reader is like, you ain't got to be a chef. Like, you have all the ingredients to make that cake, right? And you've got a cookbook. This is about making the cake. So I always say, be the chef, because you've literally got all the utensils, or call somebody and they can bring it over for you. Like, you have it readily available. And this is a metaphor. It might be literal for some, but there's something that you might think you don't have. Like, you have all these other elements, but you think you're missing love, or you think you're missing truth. It's not that far away. It's in close proximity. You just literally need to believe in yourself enough to manifest these things. So this is also about action too. So we'll just say that there's some commitments here, some magical things about to take place. I feel weird about this message too. And then I'm just going to bring it back to the orange energy, the creative and the sexual. So with that, just know sex is a commitment. There is some magical sexual stuff going on right now in the ethers. And it's kind of like creative as well. So we can get creative with these magical commitments. There's something here about traditional magic too. Something here about traditional magic. I feel like that can really be dived into, and it might mean things for different people. But get creative with it, get magical. Like, this is like baby spell work. Like someone who's like, you know what? I'm going to make a commitment and do this for a while, and see like meditation and stuff like that. Like, there's definitely something here, but you're going to need to commit to it, which is a little rough for this Sag sporadic energy. So, yeah, there's something here about tradition and magic and our resources and our elements and having everything we need and just needing to kind of put it all together and make it happen in a creative way. But I definitely keep getting reminded of that sexual thing. I don't know why that's bugging me, but I definitely think that there's just something going on with the sexual energy. Maybe someone's having sex with a Taurus. Maybe someone's having sex mentally, or there's just something going on with that. But we'll let it be. I think it's to be determined on that. Yeah, I'll leave it be. We'll go to the roots, okay? And there's like a shit ton of messages that came out, more than I've ever received but we'll go with it, all right? There's a lot going on with our root. This is red energy. I struggle the most with this one personally. It's safety, our sense of security, stability, and foundation, like what things start with, right? How we're feeling grounded. We have we have a lot in reverse. So 4 cards, one doesn't want to be revealed yet. We'll start with these 3 because we have the Justice in reverse. I've actually never pulled cards in reverse for the cups either. I've had them this way. So reverse to me talks about things not being on the up and up, things that need work, things that are in the conflicted, challenging position, and just for me as a reader, the past. So Justice is Libra energy. We have a female Libra showing up here. It doesn't have to be female. A mother energy showing up here. We'll just get to the chase though. This is lack of balance, right? Justice upright, great, right? Like balance. This is a judge. This is the judge and jury of your life. This is you as the judge and jury. This is decisions, but we have it in reverse. So things were, I don't know whether I should say things were not fair in the past or that they were more fair. I guess it doesn't matter because right now they're showing up as not fair, not balanced, not just. So the scales are not scaling right now. And we had a Libra full moon 2 months ago. So ever since then, so we'll just say 2 months ago, something happened to where there was a pivotal shift and things. So we really need to this is more so feminines in the room too. And if you're masculine, you have a feminine quality to you. So the divine feminine is pissed right now. The divine feminine is off balance, is not feeling appreciated. Keep in mind, this is the root. So This could be a maternal energy as well, a mother figure, or the parts of you that nurture and take care. This is Venus energy, Venus retrograde energy, the heart being upside down. Maybe that's why there's the moon. And then to even reiterate that, I have the Six of Pentacles. There's a balance scale in this card. So there's another, I don't like this. There's a representation of not balance. Now I know why as a reader. It is because you weren't given enough. Someone here was getting straight up breadcrumbed at their job, at their family, in their relationships. There's aspects in life that aren't giving you enough. And you know why that's a problem? Because Sagittarius rules the sign of plenty. So you might give a Sagittarius all you've got and it still ain't enough for them. So they really think big about things. They really need to be filled and fulfilled and full. And so the areas of our life that are shortcoming, not balanced, somebody here did not help in the past either. They didn't lend a helping hand. They were asking and begging you. So there's just elements, of not getting enough. And we do have the Lovers here. So that is a Gemini showing up. It's Gemini season. I'm not surprised. But aside from Gemini, this is the Lovers card. So it represents a relationship, sometimes a twin flame, a soulmate, a divine connection, a choice. At the very least, it represents the choice, a card of choice. Because not all of us, resonate with relationships right now. But we do have that. So I will say for someone here, that specifically the feminine aspect of a relationship, because we have the divine masculine and feminine here standing next to each other. This is like the Adam and Eve card here. But somebody wasn't given enough. Somebody wasn't getting enough. And also, I will say there's a divorcee here. And that's obviously not going to resonate with everyone, but I have to say it. Justice in reverse is a divorce, an ex-wife that didn't get enough. And it's like, even if you're not an ex-wife, whatever, in your relationships, the relationships you've had, and I'm getting family for most of us, any time that you felt shortchanged or you had to beg for the bare minimum, it has literally affected how you feel in relationships, your ability to receive. You might not feel like you deserve it now. It's bullshit. It's not true. And I feel like there's a new mirror coming for us all. And it's actually, and this is going to be harder than receiving not enough, because receiving what you deserve is super harder than that. Because it's whoa, I don't even know you. I don't even know this. I literally don't know how it feels to be actually seen for my self-worth. So we usually fumble those things. We usually don't even recognize them and miss opportunities. So I'm not necessarily seeing that in the cards, but I feel it as your reader that we're going to be brought people, places, and things and choices that put us at a crossroads between, are you okay with how little you were getting before, or do you want more? You ready? Literally that kind of energy. And then we have a hidden message with this. Definitely some relationship stuff going on. And a lot of us are in relationships that are not equal. And I don't want to disrespect it any more than that, but I'm seeing it here. I would love to sugarcoat this. I would love to make this look better, but it's so in my face and disgusting. And I'm pretty sure it's in our faces, in our lives. We know we're not getting enough at that job, at that place, at that person, place, or thing. And the hidden element here, the dark card that came out with this is, of course, the Five of Swords. Keep in mind, this is the root. This is why we're not feeling safe. This is affecting our sense of security. This is affecting our sense of stability. This is why we're heartbroken and going through loss. So arguments, okay? The Five of Swords, it was hidden. So there's some hidden elements here that are causing mental conflicts. I will say the Five of Swords is more so, let's put down the sword. I don't want to fight anymore. This is so cloudy. I'm so tired of mentally conflicting with this area in my life. There's so much going on that I'm just going to put my sword down. Pick your battles wisely, especially with this Sag energy. Because I haven't mentioned it tonight, but Sag is extremely competitive, extremely. So, sometimes you just got to let a bitch win. If that means you have to lose, then maybe you win in the long run, though. Literally pick your battles wisely, okay? Because this is a situation that you're going to come out on bottom. And you've already done it before. You've already been in connections. The universe has already showed you this through other people, places, and things. And you're going to be able to recognize it now. I know what that smells like. I literally know that if I choose that or do that, that I'm not going to get enough out of it. So I'm going to kind of be intuitive about this and not fight, not bicker back and forth and argue. Someone here is just done fighting, especially the feminine side. They're done fighting for bare minimum or just things to be fair. That doesn't seem right. I know it's easier said than done, but it's the kind of thing where you didn't receive what you needed or what you required or deserved for so long that you literally have put, it's winning to you. Losing this battle feels like winning. And that's real powerful. I kind of know, I don't know if it's coming out right, but that's how I'm hearing it, is there's situations that are going to come up that we're okay losing. We're okay losing that person or losing that thing because it means we're winning ourselves. It means we're winning in other areas, right? So there are people in our lives that are bullies. They're narcissistic. They have caused us to be at odds with other people in the background. There's two people here with their head. So there's this couple things going on. There's this one person who's been heartbroken so much that they're so nasty to people. They have to have the last word. It's my way or the highway. No highway options. Like, and they like to hurt other people. So we've all got a certain person that's acting nasty to us. And then there's these other two people. The other energy going on here in this card is like two people in the background that's like, I ain't even about to say nothing. Like, okay, fine. Like, someone here wants to make a decision for you so that you're left choiceless. They want to make you feel like you don't have a choice besides them. They don't want you to know. This could just be an energy. This could be literal just energy. It doesn't have to be a person. This could be like the dark energy or challenges going on right now. So you do have a choice. That has come up twice. But there's energy, people, places, and things in your life that make you feel, maybe it's your own shadow side. It's making you feel like you don't have a choice in the matter, but you do. The choice may be to continue to fight for something worthless or to put your sword down so you can actually like fight for something that's worth it elsewhere. So I will say that there's arguments, choices, a lack of balance, a lot going on in the past. Somebody was given something in the past as a donation or helpful, or you might be on the other end where you gave somebody something in the past. You donated it. It was a charitable thing, but I don't know. It wasn't fair. So those things are going to be extremely highlighted. I'm just going to mention, just to wrap this up, that summer solstice on June 20th, that's a time period. The new moon in Gemini shortly after that. But just definitely over the next couple weeks, there's going to be a lot of these things kind of opening up and happening. And it's really just to get us, do you want to be free on December 12th or not? Do you want to go into 2024 feeling like you went after your desires, or like you let someone else take the pen of your life and write you into a narrative that's literally not you? You know, like, so that's really what it's about. And then just like briefly, the bottom of the deck sometimes is important, which is the 9 of Pentacles, the 7 of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles. So slow down, stand up for yourself. You're doing great. Energetically, we're coming up as stable, rich. Here's that gilded cage I was talking about though, because she's comfortable, but she's trapped. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of independence. Some of us identify with single right now. There's a lot of boundaries, and there's like an annoying focus on money, and that's been happening for months. Like, a lot of us are just focused on our money, and you know why? Because we can actually add those numbers up. Like, we can depend on our check, we can depend on our money, and like other things in our life aren't as cut and dry as that. So we're doing that like toxic thing where we just focus on our money and stability because it's rewarding, but we're letting other things like kind of, I'm proud of us, like it's good or whatever, it's helping us stand up for ourselves. But there is a little bit too much of focus on money. So, like, what's going on in all the other areas? You know, I'm just wondering as, like, just a person, as an outsider, like, because I even resonate with that, too. So, hopefully we have room for other things besides just that, like, tangible focus, because there's definitely more going on behind the scenes.